Testing. How that is. Okay, my bad, my bad. I don't really want to say everything I was saying. It means nothing. I was just on an all-time doom scroll. You know, I'm reading out Miata Boy's tweet reacting to Dean Thomas being a fucking goofy ass N-word and you know, saying he's done coaching, done cornering after Gillian Robertson's loss. Miata Boy says, if I was her, I would switch camps immediately. I wouldn't even go back to get my stuff. There's better camps out there. Yes, she has holes in her game, nothing that can't be fixed. And I just said, I love that I'm one of the 2 people who saw this post from Miata Boy, number 1. And number 2, Miata Boy would benefit so much from a little bit of punctuation. Just a little bit, you know, just a little bit of punctuation. He'd benefit just, you know, times a million. What's poppin', Franklin? What's poppin', Roe? What's poppin', Space Kid? What's poppin', Shiloh? What's poppin', James Steele? What up, Dun Daughter? Big up, homie. What's poppin', Dun Daughter? And then I was saying you guys were just witnessing my all-time doom scroll. You know, I don't even know what this shit's about. It's a doom scroll I just got on X. But Demetrius Johnson on Ian Garry. When you're trying to get in bed with your wife and she jumps out, you get no booty. I don't know the context. I'm assuming Ian was evading most of the fight. We're gonna speak about it. And then Shavkat's wife moving mad after the divorce. Who is that old man? Who is that old man who is trying to become a scapegoat? Question mark. I'm confused. And then Islam comforting Ian Garry's son after the fight. Layla making sure to get her touching on Islam. Oh yeah, touch him up, baby. Touch him up, baby. Get your hands all up in him, baby. Get your hands all up on Islam, baby. You know what I mean, Layla? Get your hands all up on him. Caught in 4K trying to cuck Ian once again. Oh, look at her. Touch him. Rub his back some more. Rub that little lat some more, Layla. Come on, baby. Unfucking real. Unfucking real. On my daughter, says Shiloh. What up, Shiloh? Tintin, we on Tintin. We on Tintin, Franklin. Rose says, I don't think Carlos knows what he's talking about. Can you give context? Otto says, yo, what up? Hope you're having a great night and day, and everybody too. Thank you, Otto. I'm having a great night, homie. Having a good day. Hope you are too, Otto. Tony M says, sup, blood. What up? What up? What up, Tony M? What's poppin'? What's poppin', cuh? Don't be blooding me, homie. You know it's cuh over here. I'm playing. I don't belong to no turf. You know, shit. Call me a tuna. I'm a turned up non-affiliate. You know, I'm a tuna. I ain't no blood. I ain't no crip. I'm a tuna. I'm just simply a turned up non-affiliate. Anyway. I know Drew knows what I'm talking about. Ruby Z says, not going to lie, Castro Live brings up the vibes for the day. I love to hear it. I love to hear it, Ruby Z. Thank you for the comment. Good to see you in here, homie. Scott Snyder said, what's good, homie? Ian looked like he was shook all fight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about it. I mean, I want to make my cup of coffee. I mean, I'm kind of vibing already, but I think I should make a cup of coffee. There's no need to rush this, right? Ian looked like he was shook all fight. 75 days till Halloween, cuh. Yeah, 75 days. I ain't even counting Tony M. You know that. Ruby Z says, Layla isn't sneaky. Touching someone is always intentional. It is, bro. I mean, really? I mean, women really shouldn't even be shaking hands with men, you know, if they're taken, to be honest with you. People going to call me crazy. But listen. I'm not going to get too into this right now. I mean, maybe I will a little bit, but it's like, it doesn't even matter about the woman's intentions. It matters how it's perceived by the man too, you know? And that man thinks he has a chance if you shake his hand. You know, if you tell that guy, "Oh, I'm taken," you know, right? And then he's, you know, introduces himself, he still gets your name, he still shakes your hand. I mean, she might be going. You know? It should be like, "Oh, I'm taken." It's like, "Oh, well, what was your name?" Shit, don't matter, I'm taken. You feel me? That ain't Layla though. We cooking Dean or what? Yeah, we're gonna cook Dean in a second. Rose says I sent a link. Tony says if Layla touched my last like that I would bust if Layla touched my lats like that, I would bust no cap, cuh. Rose says, did it go through? Let me switch to live chat. That's why I paused for a second. I was like, I don't see it. Ro, when I tell you to queue it up, just send it through. But give me a second here. I gotta make you a mod if you're gonna start sending links, Ro. It's not a big deal. But I definitely gotta make you a mod if you're gonna send links. So there you go. It'll go through now. Also, Dean was a lackluster fighter, but has all this respect. All I know is that Dean Thomas got his ass beat by BJ Penn. That's all I know. Anthony Smith is innocent. Says hello everyone. What up, homie? Juice says Dean was 5-4. Best win was Jeremy Stevens by armbar and Clay Guida decision. Yeah, Dean Thomas got fucking his ass took by BJ Penn too. Don't ever forget. We're gonna talk about Dean Thomas, but I like the context coming in. I'm gonna save my takes a little bit. We got a fake Shiloh. It's not good, man. It's not good, man. We're trying to read chats, man, and like we got fake ass Shiloh in here. I don't know. Shiloh 1010. He got a lot of lore. Who's Shiloh 1012? Yeah, Shiloh 1012 only has 2 chats. We got to go to the channel. We got to report the user. Impersonation. This channel is impersonating someone else. What channel is being impersonated? Shiloh 1010 is being impersonated. Hey, Ruby Z, thank you for the $10 dono, homie. I'm seeing it come in now. Much appreciated, homie. Sorry, I'm gonna read it, but I'm taking care of fake fake Shiloh real quick. Shiloh 1010 is the real one. Here's his channel. Okay. Good to go. Shiloh 1010. You're back, homie. Ruby Z says, thank you for the $10 dono. Once again, Ruby Z, he says, go make that coffee, homie. Get the vibes going. We're cooking Dean tonight. Okay, let me go make that coffee. Once again, thank you very much to my mans. Ruby Z for the $10 dono, big dog. Morales' friends seem equally as sus as him. Bro, Morales getting bitched left and right. He really not like that, huh? Morales really not like that, I guess. He wasn't just getting played by Ian Garry. You know, Prates was playing his bitch ass too. Michael Morales, the only guy with nothing to say. The one with 1010 is fake. No, Shiloh Primetime 1012 is fake, and we need to hide him. Hide user on this channel. Shiloh Primetime 1010 is the real deal. Shiloh Primetime 1010 is the real deal. Anthony Smith is innocent, says get that fake Shiloh. Franklin says 1012 ain't it. Good luck, my guy. Yep. Shiloh 1010 has 112 subs, though. Franklin says you got to watch Dean Thomas versus BJ Penn. BJ knocked his bitch ass out. Rose says, I don't think I'll send a lot of links, but thanks for trusting me as mod. Of course, Ro, I got you, homie. You got a Halloween mug for that coffee? I don't. Okay, 1 second, though. I'm gonna go make that coffee now. I actually haven't even pulled up the stream numbers or anything like that. But shout out to everybody watching. We got a bunch of you boys in here, and I honestly haven't even gave my takes yet. I think you guys are gonna like it. I think we shall enjoy what I will bring to the table tonight, boys. So if we could run up the likes on the stream, friendly reminder to run up the likes on the stream right now. Thank you in advance. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We live every day, pretty much. And I do got a lot to say about the whole fight that just took place, Islam versus Gary. Dana White's opinions, I don't know if you guys have fully dived into it yet, but MMA Guru had an opinion on it. I'm gonna share my opinions as well. So stay tapped in. Run up the likes on the stream right now, the boys, for me. Thank you in advance. I'm gonna make this cup of coffee. All right, coffee being made. Coffee being made. Lubin cider. I see all the classic boys in the chat right now. I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me happy. It makes me happy. That's the truth. I see all the classic boys in chat right now, you know? I'm seeing fucking Tyler Betts in here, even though Tyler Betts always in here. But you know, Lubin cider. We got True Silence back. I mean, things are looking good. We got Ruby Z kicking off the stream with a $10 dono. Things are looking real good right now. We're loving the stream. We got rid of fake ass Shiloh early. I mean, it's a good day. Wolf Daddy, you ever been in here before, homie? Low key, I kind of forgot if you've been in here already. I feel like you have been in here though, Wolf Daddy. Anyway, my coffee getting made right now. Big dog here. What up, homie? What up, one big dog to another? I'm gonna step away to grab my coffee in a second once it's made, but I mean, let's do a quick doom scroll, you know. Islam showing DC his abs. Possibly, but I don't think so. Okay. Just checking. You might have found your new home though. Right now. We're loving the stream. We got rid of fake ass Shiloh early. Okay. Dean the Great and shit. Ian just completely sunning Michael Morales. Michael Morales really not like that, man. About to go on a gym tour. Tomorrow's on. Well, good shit, homie. Good shit. I'm not sure what the gym tour is. Ruby Z said we just need Space Kid and the whole crew's here. That's very true. Where's Space at? Then Protez kind of sunned him earlier that night. Yeah, I know. I saw Protez sunning. I saw Protez sunning Michael Morales. Michael Morales, the only one who doesn't fucking say shit. Wolf Daddy says, nah, Frank sent me. Okay, thank you, Franklin. Bringing in a new viewer. Franklin says Morales steady for sure. Because True Silence says, no, it wasn't sunning. Morales is just humble because that's how true killers are. Interesting. Juice says, tough spot for Morales there. Doesn't know English. Maybe crashing out would have been better, but who knows if it pisses the UFC off. I mean, if I was Michael Morales, I would have gone off on Ian Garry and Ecuadorian. You know, you're going to go off on me in English that I don't speak. I'm going to return the favor. Who you got for Fluffy versus RoboCop? I got Fluffy, bro. RoboCop ain't winning that. Layla wanted some of Islam kebab, cuh. I know. Another one. Shout out Franklin. What kind of coffee you making, big dog? I'm making it's a organic French roast coffee. I'm gonna put a little bit of honey, a little bit of half and half in there, and I'm gonna be sipping. Anthony Smith. We got a newcomer, my boy Wolf Dads. Hell yeah! Thank you, Franklin, once again for bringing Wolf Daddy in here. Perry got his neighbor whipping up his coffee. Hell no. But I told you guys, she crazy, man. Wolf Daddy, one of the nicest gyms in Michigan. Okay, all right, good shit. I'm a big gym guy, Wolf Daddy. I might, I might hit the gym later. We'll see. Wolf Daddy, don't be capping, homie. Franklin says, great memory. He showed up once. Wolf Daddy been in here before? Juice says, I did like how Hamza shut Gary down and was ready to crash out because he's seen through it. Yes. Come on now. Jew, you already know I agree with that, Jew. You already know what I think about that. Now the plot is thick and worse. Anthony Smith says, who you got this weekend? Umar? Against Song Yadong? Yes. Space and Outer currently. I know Space comes through late. Ecuadorian speaks Spanish, I think. Well, then he should have gone off on Ian Garry in Spanish. You know, the thing is Michael Morales talked all that shit to Ian Garry. All that shit about Ian Garry on the cameras. You got to back that shit up. You know, Ian did. Ian acknowledged it. Ian definitely did. Shout out Michigan, yes. Wolf Daddy says full basketball courts at the gym. There's a must. That's a must for me, and it's a 5-minute drive. Okay, Wolf Daddy, I like it. I like it. I like it. You know, recently they remodeled my gym and they removed the basketball court. Kind of a tragedy. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. Now no more basketball court, but that's my favorite form of cardio. What's good, chat? What's good, stacking money? That's next weekend. New here. All good, stacking money. We're just about to get started. Let me go make my coffee right now. And then I'm going to tell you guys my opinions about everything. I'm going to tell you guys my opinions about the fight. You know, I'm going to tell you my opinions about Dana White's post-fight reaction. Some of the stuff Islam said after the fight. Some of the stuff Ian said after the fight. Dean Thomas being a fucking goofy. You know, I have some more stuff written down. Let's see, you know, Dean Thomas being a goofy, and no, that's pretty much what I got for you today. That's what I want to mention to you. Other than that, you know, it's like we could look at some other stuff, but worth noting. Anyway, while I'm away, take a look at Ian Garry just completely sunning Michael Morales. You guys really think Michael Morales would beat Ian Garry? Put a poll on it.
It's okay. Make sure you're back in the No, I know. Now, I don't know whatever story you made up about meeting me. I've never encountered that story. You know that, right? Okay. Listen, you're a good fighter. Show up, keep winning, and you can do anything. Does that make sense? You've got massive fights in this division. You've got me, you've got Patches, you've got Islam. Show up and fight. Does that make sense? You're an animal. You're strong. Does that make sense? I don't know about any story where I've met you and I've attacked shit. You know that? In this sport, if people talk, I ignore it. Does that make sense? You're a good fighter. You're young. You're strong up here. Yeah, that means you can do anything. Does that make sense? Spread good, do good. You knock people out, you beat people up, that's what gets respect. Does that make sense? You make sense? Yeah? I got you. Okay? No problem. Okay? Everything in this sport, when we have a platform to do good, when we have a platform to spread good and do good, choose that. Always. There's too many people in the sport talking and negative. We're the new generation in the sport. Change it. Does that make sense? Okay? All respect. See you soon, okay?
Oh yeah, we got Meat Rocket back too. What up, Meat Rocket? Substitute teacher scolding the class clown. Okay, okay. So
It's okay. Make sure you're back in the No.
okay.
You're going to be the only caller
What is this?
gonna get if
Ian,
you go
what's
to
up?
PFL with
Uncle
little
T, I truly do believe
man.
that if
It's all fake. Where do we start? I think we should work chronologically. Let's start with Ian. Real Playa told me about the channel. Okay, shout out to Real Playa. Shout out to Stacking Money for tuning in. We're about to get started on the stream right now. I'm just trying to find something to like resemble the Ian Garry Islam Makhachev fight. Well, I guess we can just go to UFC Paramount. They got something for us probably. Okay, so I'm going to love to get everybody's opinions on this. So feel free to drop them. But here's honestly. Okay, so you know, Islam Makhachev defeats Ian Garry at UFC 330, right? In my opinion, listen, I don't gotta like it. And neither do you, but we are operating on the UFC scoring system, on the UFC standard, and you know, by my metrics, Ian Garry lost that fight 4-1. 4-1, Makhachev won it. And then Dana White goes on the post-fight press conference and starts saying that Ian Garry sold the fight in the 5th round. If he really wanted the win, if he had any killer instinct at all, he wouldn't have shook hands with Islam. Like, listen, man, I'm of the belief, like, I get the whole friendliness thing. I do. But that's also insinuating that Ian was not switched on in that fight, which I believe he was. I believe that Ian can go ahead and embrace Islam and still fight to his best capabilities. I mean, the round hadn't even necessarily started yet, I don't think. We could go back and look. You know, I was watching it live at the time. Whether it had started or not, it doesn't matter, you know, because the way it ended anyway with Islam just on Ian's back, like what's the difference of 5 seconds more of that or something? Like Islam was getting that takedown regardless. If Ian gave up the first few seconds of the round, so what? He switched on as soon as they embraced. There's nothing wrong with it. I feel like Dana's coping. Low key, I feel like Dana coping. You know, putting the blame on Garry any which way he can. Because that's not how the fight played out. 4-1 Makhachev. Whether you guys like it or not, the only round Ian Garry won was the 3rd round. You know, and Dana's like, oh, you know, Ian, he should have won that fight. You know, that's the way you're going to go with it. How about, listen, that's kind of a boring main event. Ian Garry gave a valiant effort in there. He tried his best. But listen, Islam Makhachev is boring as hell. Boring as hell. The referee should have came in earlier in the 1st round and separated them when Islam's hugging Ian's knee up against the cage. You know, and then after the 3rd round, which Ian won, Islam elected to just make it super boring the rest of the time and just hug him again in the 4th, grapple him again in the 5th. You know, it was just all hugging in the 4th. That's why it was close, though. And he still wins based off those metrics, unfortunately. I'm sure there was a little bit of striking, too. But it's this stalling, this holding him up against the cage, this faking like you're shooting a takedown. This is ridiculous. And that's what Dana should have had more of his focus on, man. Not Ian Garry being too fucking friendly. We could play the video and shit like that. But, like, 4-1. And I don't even know, like, I have so many thoughts on this. I don't even know which order to present them. But Dana is selling a different story when he goes to the post-fight press conference, acting like it was 2-2 going into the 5th. I know Khabib told Islam it's 2-2 going into the 5th. You got to win this. That's his fucking job as the coach. You do not bank and tell your fighter to fucking coast. You tell him it's you know, an even fight. This round is do or die. Do not give it up. You know, do not buy that shit. Do not buy that fucking bullshit that it was 2-2 going into the 5th. It's like, did Dana even watch that shit? No criticism of Islam. You know, going after Garry for showing Islam respect. Bro, he tried his hardest, whether or not he showed Islam respect or not. That's totally insinuating that he did not try his hardest in that 5th round because he respects Islam. I don't know. I see some of you guys saying 4th was Garry's. No world was it 4-1. Stupid. It was 4-1, bro. It was 4-1. It was definitely 4-1. I want to go back and watch that 4th round. Should we just like do that right here? I can't really show you guys, but I could watch it on my phone. let's do the poll then, because I see that's the most common thing. The 4th round, right? The 4th round. Who won 4th round? We always got to put a poll on it. Islam, Gary. The majority of the judges did not give Ian the 4th round. One judge gave Ian the 4th round. Juice says, I don't know. The fact his first instinct was to hug and clap with Islam kind of shows where his head was at. Here's what I'll say. Man. I wish we could go back and watch the fight, because listen. How about this? You know what shows where Ian's head was at? After Ian got dropped in the 3rd round from a head kick, he came back, after Ian got dropped in the 2nd round with a head kick, he came back in the 3rd round and won it. Razor close round, used his IQ, made it kind of boring, because listen, man, if you don't make it boring, one mistake, this guy fucking Islam is going to hold you up against that cage for as long as he possibly can. You know, Dana's over here bragging about it. Oh, you know, yeah, Ian gave up that position. Islam's just going to take that and ride it out the rest of the round. You know, it's so funny how Dana can say things like he could take that same exact thing with a different fighter, you know, an American fighter. Like Guru said, I'm not going to act like I took Guru's take, but I agree with him. You know, it's like, take Tyron Woodley. That same thing, Dana's going to say, oh, yeah, Tyron Woodley's boring. That's one of the most boring title fights I've ever seen in my life. You know, he's just holding on to him. You need to do more than that. But let Islam do that. Dana's like, oh, yeah, you know, that's just the world we live in, you know, and it's Islam's world. We're just living in it, you know? No, bro, that's why Ian had to fight so fucking boring, if anything. But the fact that Ian switched on in that 3rd round after getting dropped with a head kick, after not getting finished, bro, you guys should all know it. You watched the fight and on top of that, Jew says that's true. Shout out to Jew. I know Jew, a real one. He would disagree if he felt it in his heart. But how about this one too? In the second round, after Islam dropped Ian with the head kick, he also head and arm through him on the top of his head and shit like that. Like, that is exhausting for Ian. He just got rocked. He's back up to his feet. He's trying to strike with Islam and get his wits back about him. And boom, head and arm throw right on your fucking head. Now Islam's in side control on you, threatening with chokes and shit like that. Like, Ian Garry was switched on this whole fight. He can respect Islam and still be switched on. I'm not going to accept that narrative. Ian Garry is a switched on fighter. And like that's some bullshit from Dana. That's some bullshit from Dana. I don't even know what Dana's watching. I honestly don't even know what Dana's watching. Dana going out fucking talking about like that fight was close. And I know you guys are saying 4th round. You know, it was close. 69% of people say Garry won that. I'd like you guys to vote that up more, because I don't agree. Ian definitely won round 4. Islam barely won round 5, if at all. What is the stats for round 4? But let's put it like this, okay? Because we're arguing over peanuts. Let's put it like this then. Whether or not that 4th round was won by Ian Garry, in other words, whether or not it was 2-2 going into the 5th, Ian Garry did not lose that fight because he respected Islam and shook his hand to begin that round. That's fucking dog shit. You know, that's dog shit. And Dana should be putting more blame on Islam than Ian, to be honest with you. He should be criticizing the 1st round and the 4th round on Islam's behalf. You know, Islam not even really securing takedowns and just holding against the cage. Play round 4 if you won't get in trouble. I could play it on my phone. I'll just call it while you guys listen to me or stare at the screen. We could do that. I'm pulling up the like stats right now if I can. I'm trying to talk and, you know, navigate the UFC website at the same time, so I'm a bit fucking frazzled. Okay, past fight card. Garry Islam. Round 4. Okay, so round 4, Gary lands 41 total strikes. Islam lands 7. Why does it say Islam knocked down Ian in the 4th round? 1 knockdown? Islam got 2 takedowns as well. 2 takedowns. So, you know, it is a battle of 2 takedowns versus 40 significant strikes. What is this knockdown that they discuss? So, Jay, what's poppin', HT? HT, did Ian Garry win that 4th round, yes or no, HT? Say it in chat, and then if you could vote it as well, it would be appreciated. The judges are wrong. Listen, again, I'm like, if you guys want my opinion, because like let's, I feel like it's getting put in this perspective of like, oh, you know, I'm on a certain camp. Listen, I'm not on a certain camp. If it was Ryzen rules, I would score that round for Ian Garry. I said this live in the commentary. You guys could replay the fight companion from last night. If it was Ryzen rules, I'd score the 4th round for Ian Garry. But I just know how fucked the UFC scoring system is. And like you know what I mean? I figured that's around for Islam based off the UFC scoring system, bro. That's all that comes from. I'm not saying I don't see your guys' point. I'm just saying, like, with all that being said, like the way that the UFC scores shit, they're gonna favor Islam's couple of takedowns, especially like we gotta rewatch this round. Like, where are these significant strikes from Ian? Like, while Islam's hugging him up against the cage and Ian's like elbowing him in the ribs, that shit is like null and void. In the UFC, that shit's like null and void. You know, and I would say I disagree with that, but like we're talking about the UFC, it's best if I just operate on the terms that the UFC operates on. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like that's where I'm at with it. That's why I'm saying Ian lost that 4th round. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I'll pull up Paramount and I'm gonna watch this 4th round. I'm gonna watch this 4th round. No, that's not how they score it. Yes, it is, bro. And people want to because what? Because Islam's face was beat up going into the 5th. Listen, guys. We've been did this a long time. You know who else's face was beat up going into and I know it was a different fight, but GSP Nick Diaz. GSP Nick Diaz keeps coming to mind when I think about this fight. You know, GSP was beat the fuck up by Nick Diaz, cuts all over his face. Nick Diaz looks perfectly fine. GSP won unanimous decision. You know, wrestled Nick Diaz the entire time. Stack Money says, "You're a shit MMA YouTuber if you think so." Well, I mean, you could say that all you want, homie. You could say that all you want, you know. Whatever you have to say doesn't mean shit to me. So that's all I gotta say. I would say, Stacky Money, keep bringing it. Keep bringing it. That's what you got, huh? That's what you got. That's a pretty low IQ. That's a pretty low IQ thing to say, to be honest with you. Can't even have a conversation. Stacking Money just has to say you're a shit YouTuber if you have an opinion. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So everybody has to have a unanimous opinion about a very close round. One that happened to be scored by 2 of the judges in favor of Islam Makhachev. You stupid fucking bitch. You know, 2 could play at that game. 2 could easily play at that game, homie. I only keep it respectful, you know, just because I'm like, you know, nice like that. But, you know, hold on. We need to isolate Stacky Money real quick. Just kind of like have a moment with Stacky Money, you know, his flawed fucking way of thinking. This guy says, "Oh, the judges are wrong. If that's your opinion too, then you're a shit MMA YouTuber." Does that make sense to you guys about this guy stacking money? I just wanna be clear about this guy stacking money before we move on. I'm trying to pull up the fight, you know. You even sound like a dumbass. Well, your tone of voice sounds retarded and your take is too. That's totally fine. That's totally fine, homie. That's totally fine. Should we get you on the Discord, Stacky Money, so you can show your face real quick so we know what you look like? What do you think, Stacky Money? Get you on the Discord real quick. Okay, let me pull up this fight. UFC 330. In Espanol and in Portuguese. Catch up on UFC 330. Gary versus Makhachev. Here it is. Wait, who the hell referred in Stacky Money to? I think that was Roro, huh? Okay. Stacky Money. I just have a feeling, bro, if we were to put a camera on you, you would be a huge ass fucking goofy. There's just something's telling me, homie. Something's telling me. Something's telling me. If we just took one look at you, oh shit, you know, it'd be bad for you. You know, it would be bad for you if we just got one look at you. Let's just put you on the fucking Discord, homie. Like let's just show your face real quick just to see what you look like. You know, I don't generally judge a book by its cover, but I'm gonna judge you by your cover for sure. Stacking Money. Okay, let's watch. Wait, they're not even showing the. Okay, round 3. It's Zorozka. Shout out to Soda Pop. What's poppin', homie? Soda Pop says, I'm still living high off the Jeremiah Wells win. And Turner. You know, Dana in the post-fight press conference, they're asking him about Jeremiah Wells and his desire to get re-signed and shit. And then Dana goes, you know, I'm happy for him, but how old is he? And then they're like 39. And he's like, yeah, see? It's like, Dana, fucking re-sign the guy, man. But I get it. Dana's almost saying retire on a high note, bro. We gave you a bonus. You knocked out the biggest favorite on the card. Like, you know, go out on a high note. Why do you want to get re-signed just to get your ass whooped and shit? You're 39. Anyway, let's watch this. Let's watch this 4th round. What up, boys? Wolf Daddy, I did see Wolf Daddy saying he was enjoying my roast of Stacky Money. And it's just like, you know, Stacky Money, we don't want to pay too much attention to you because you're an idiot. But no, Stacky Money, you can have an opinion, but you're the one opinion shaming, homie. But now you're being a victim too. It's like you disgust me. You absolutely disgust me. First your opinion, you know, your opinion shaming, and then you go right to being a victim. Like the little bitch you are, homie. You know? Can already tell. Can already tell from a mile away. I can smell it through the screen. You know? One more time. Let's just put your I mean, let me can I just say it? Let's just put your ugly ass on here. Stacky Money. You want to get your ugly ass on here, Stacky Money? Please? I'll wait, Stacky Money. Anything else you have to say don't matter until you answer what I have to say. You know, you want to pop on the Discord? Okay, this 4th round getting started. Islam opened up with a couple strikes to start this round. Ian with 1 knee stomp so far. And this is what I mean, though. Ian was locked in, man. To suggest Ian respected Islam, therefore he wasn't locked in, is bullshit. You can see in this 4th round, Ian's still locked in, and in the 3rd, he won it. Body kick from Ian. Good shit. Calf kick from Islam, that's shin to shin. Islam, or I think Ian landed something there. Yeah, nice jab for Ian. Real stiff jab for Ian. Islam tried to land that right hook. Might have hit the shoulder. Big 1-2. Missing though. Islam shoots in for a single. Ian going to defend. 320 left. No, I know you can't see it. What up, Parry Punch moderator? Guarantee he ain't stacking money. I kind of thought so. Just didn't want to be rude about it. Yep, so Islam secures this takedown here. 3 minutes left in the round. It's important to understand how much time is left in the round here. Ian tripoding up, so Islam is you know, not fully on him anymore, but he's still holding him up against the cage in this advantageous position, and he's eating up control time, bro. And this is what won him the first round too. And the fourth, according to 2 of the 3 judges and myself. HE says Gary obviously won 3rd and 4th, but it was close. I'm watching it now. Islam's been hugging him for over a minute. 2:17 left in the round. And Islam hugging Ian on the cage, that's you guys, it gets scored. Knees to the thigh. The only time this didn't really get scored in the fighter's favor was Jilton Almeida, but a lot of times, when the champion does this, they award the champion with this. Come on, man. You guys know it. Ian is throwing big elbows to Islam's body, though. Punching him in the ribs. Yeah, lots of punches to the ribs. But Islam goes big takedown, gets him down. Big single takes him down. And, bro, to act like the punches to the ribs like that are going to win him the round, it's the same as Islam kneeing Ian in the thigh, bro. Whatever Ian does punching the ribs, Islam gets back by kneeing him in the thigh. Like, what? Islam is still grappling Ian, Ian punches Islam a little bit in the face, in the ribs, more in the face. Yeah, it's good work, Ian. It's good work. I'm objectively, but it's like it's such pitter-patter stuff. It's like it's good punches though. But Islam takes Ian down again. And he's the champion, and it gets awarded. Big punches to the ribs from Ian here. It's good work. Big punches from Ian again to the ribs. 27 seconds left. Big punches from Ian to the ribs of Islam. And then kissing him again to end the round. Okay, so like I'll put it like this. I can totally see why a lot of you guys think he won the 4th round. And I would say according to like the Ryzen standards, he did win the 5th round. Or the 4th round. I think that there's some things that are not getting mentioned though. And the things that aren't getting mentioned is, Islam's the reigning champion. Ian is defending the whole time in that round. Like his back is up against the cage. He's dumped to his knees 3 times. I know the thing says 2 takedowns. He got dumped to his knees 3 times. and like they're not really a lot of face shots on Islam. He did land a few a few of these slapping shots to Islam's face, but the majority of the punches were to the ribs. And listen, you could back it up because of I already live streamed the fight last night. I'm just saying, man. I said last night, Islam won this fourth round. He won the fourth round on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. I was just saying that because we're watching a UFC event. I figure, you know what I mean? By the UFC standards, this is a dub for Islam. He's the champion. The champion means something. Maybe if he wasn't the champion and it was like a fucking regular fight somewhere, yeah, maybe Ian would have won that shit. But like the favor a lot of times goes to the champion. There's that big saying, you really got to beat the champion. People believe that shit. So like, just understand that. I feel like a lot of you guys are ignoring some of that stuff. But like I said, man, let's get back to the crux of everything. Whether or not that fourth round was won by Ian Garry, it doesn't really matter because Dana White at the post-fight press conference said that Ian, lost the fight in the fifth, lost the round in the fifth, which ultimately lost him the fight because he respected Islam too much. He wasn't locked in. And that's bullshit, man. Ian was locked in that whole fight. Like, even in that fourth round, while Islam's trying to grapple him and Ian's doing all that work to make it even close, to make it a conversation, Ian's locked in. Like, it's so crazy that Dana's going to grasp at straws to diss Ian and be like, yeah, Ian, because he respects his opponent, he lost himself that fight in the fifth round. If he wouldn't have fucking shook hands with Islam and gave him a hug, he would have won that fucking round. No, he fucking wouldn't have. Number one. And number two, the real fucking criticism that should exist is like, yeah, man, Islam's dominant, but boy, he's fucking boring. Boy, he's fucking boring. That's what should have been said by Dana. Yeah, Islam is super dominant, but boy, is he boring. I get that that's his game plan in the first round to tire out Ian Garry, hold him up against a cage, but I need the referee stepping in there sooner. Or the referee should have stepped in there sooner if you're Dana. Saying nothing. Even in the fourth round, which I just watched, Dana has no criticisms about that. But God forbid Ian Garry embraces Islam to start the fifth. And the whole fight, throw his performance out the window. Ian Garry was locked in, man. And like, I don't know. I get the whole thing, but I actually have a little bit of sympathy for Ian Garry after that fight. I actually do. And Ian's a super egotistical guy, so it's hard, to really keep that sympathy for long. But I got sympathy for Garry because of the situation he's in with like his girl and shit. To be honest with you, I mean, like, I know that he kind of like is a bitch about it and he acts like it's all like rainbows and unicorns and that's why we really get on him. But still, bro, he's in like a shit situation with his girl. He's a guy chasing his dreams, and he's a solid fighter. I don't know. I don't know how to explain my sympathy for Garry, but I got a little bit for him. But then every time I see a video of him post fight, I'm like, oh, I don't really have too much sympathy. But shout out to Ian Garry. I just don't like what Dana's been saying. Islam saying Ian is too nice to him, that's fine. Islam can say that. That's his opinion. Islam didn't say that, Ian lost the fight because he respected him too much, like Dana said. The judging criteria never says the champion given more credit. No, I know, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sure, like on the paper, the judging criteria doesn't necessarily say that. But do you ever go off of like what you see with your eyes ever? You ever sit down for years and years on end and watch UFC title fights, and develop your own opinion? Or do you just go straight to judging rules? What do the judging rules say? Google judging scoring criteria. No, in this list right here, it doesn't say anything about it goes to the champion. No fucking shit, homie. No fucking shit, homie. It doesn't say that. But you ever fucking put in work watching all this shit for all that time? You kind of know how this shit goes. And what I'm saying isn't blanket statement, but I'm just explaining something to you guys. Listen, I don't like it. I don't like it that Conor McGregor beat Nate Diaz in the rematch, but that shit happened, and there's a reason it happened. Because Conor was the fucking A side, bro. And you guys know it. But you guys know it. But then put this on this situation, you know, it's different. Gary don't care about the fans. He said fuck us, he don't need us. I know, but he's pissed off and you know. Maybe UFC has to keep the cousin Grapers to keep tied with Saudi. I think they like the fan base. Oh, it's a whole competition I see. Perry, you're on here respectfully. Gary don't care about the fans. Hang on. I missed the whole show. Was it a decent one? Yes, it was a decent one. It was actually really good, Wolf Daddy, except for the co-main and the main. Perry, name one fight the champion ever got the up because he's the champion other than John. Um, um, shit, off the top of my head, I'm saying Islam right here. I said the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz A side. So I already gave an example. I don't need to fucking give a champion title fight. Conor and Nate Diaz A side was it. You know, I did name one. I did name one already. Conor McGregor got gifted the win in the rematch with Nate Diaz. Go watch that fight. Conor ended that fight on his fucking back, bro. And you would see the contradiction in that because you will see that they didn't award the same grapple heavy approach from Nate Diaz that he deployed against Conor as they did for Islam Makhachev here. So it proves my point, bro. It proves my point that like they'll go on the A side for shit. They'll go on the A side for shit. If the A side, they'll go with what the A side is perfecting. That's why it's hard to make these blanket statements. I'm not saying that like you know, the grappling is what was awarded or that's what tickled the fucking judge's fancy. I'm saying Islam being the A side, Islam being the champion, Islam, you know, controlling a bit more of the space of the exchanges. You know, he's the A side. It went to him. Conor in the fight with Nate Diaz, he was landing harder strikes on Nate at times, but Nate was overall doing you know beating Conor. But what they choose to pay more attention to, you know, Conor dropping Nate and these types of things, you know. And so go watch that shit. But that's my example. Islam won the fourth by controlling Ian and where the fight took place. Simple as that. I mean, listen, guys, everyone wants to disagree. Everyone wants to disagree, right? I mean, like, we should just stop disagreeing and just go based off of what happened. And all I could say is I told you guys Ian lost that fourth round. I said it on the stream. 2 of the 3 judges agree with me. Why do we let's just stop bitching. Let's just stop bitching, man. I think I see something that maybe all the people who disagree with me, I've explained it a million times. Maybe I see something you guys might not be seeing. I've tried to explain it to you a million different ways. It ain't getting through. It's fine. Totally fine. I keep telling you it's an irrelevant point about the 4th fucking round anyway. Won it, fucking won it, bro. The whole point is that Dana White going after Ian, saying he respects Islam too much. He lost, you know, he lost the 5th round because he wasn't locked in enough because he respected Islam. As a cherry on top, I say that's selling a fake narrative, bro. Islam was way ahead in that fight. But you guys disagree with that. That's fine that you disagree with that. But regardless of that, Ian Garry didn't lose the 5th round because he respected Islam. You know, regardless of that. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Islam won, or Jew says he's pissed off the fans don't like him because of shit he doesn't says LOL. No, I get it. I get it. Seraph says this the Perry guy. I keep hearing about it in other streams. I mean, yes, there's only one Perry, homie. It's just me. He's a cuck, dude. It's over for his cuck ass. Dana treated him as a cuck. Oh well, there's a side note. People are pointing a finger, saying, "Is Dana throwing Ian under the bus because he signed with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom talent agency?" I'll give you the other side to the narrative. They're saying, Ian's still managed by the same people, meaning Matchroom and Eddie Hearn are not exclusively negotiating Ian Garry's contracts with the UFC. Ian still has people managing his contracts. Matchroom Talent Agency is getting Ian sponsorships with PETA and other things like that. So if you break it down like that, why would Dana have a fucking gripe with Ian for signing with Talent Room agency if it's not going to be, if it's not going to get in the way of exclusive contract negotiations? Ian's original management still controls that. Word on the street. Juice is like, what possessed to say you in touch with your feminine side and cry to Disney movies and think women should run the world? Jew, it's because, bro, he's kind of like super brainwashed by his girl, and that's on Ian. But he lives in like a box, man, and he like comes out and he realizes that the world is so much different. It's like this, Jew. You remember when we were kids and it's like you only know the neighborhood? Like you only know your little city, your own little town. You never really been past it. You never really comprehended much, even if you did go past it, right? Then you get older and you're like, wow, it's not like, the world is way different than just my little neighborhood I grew up in. Ian Garry and his wife, they're like, it's like that for him all the time. And then he pops out and it's like, oh shit, like the hood exists, like Ian just doesn't know because his woman just like feminizes him constantly and he falls for it in the privacy of their own home. And, I feel bad for him. But that's what it is. He lives in a shell. His woman feminizes him constantly. He goes for it. And then like he tries to have here's the other part. He tries to have these same conversations out in public in like a fucking male-dominated, male-driven sport like MMA and the UFC, and he gets berated for it. So that's what it is. At least, that's what I think it is. He does come off clueless. Maybe he really does think it's manly to be in touch with your feminine side. And if he does, bro, that's on him too. Using that logic, you can say Alex beat Ankh the first fight. It was a close fight. You expected UFC fans to be like, oh, he woke. We like him now. Eric says, Ian Garry trying to pull in the woke audience. I had to clean gutter, says Tony M. Nate B. Connor in the rematch too. That's what I'm referring to, Ruby Z, in the rematch. But they gave it to Connor. They awarded the striking in that situation. Why? It's not because the striking matters. They awarded Islam's wrestling in this situation. Why? It's not because the wrestling matters. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's fine. Don't even worry about it. It's you know what I mean? Just don't even worry about it, man. It's probably past your a little bit. Oh my gosh, bro. Why do we have another fake Franklin? I just hit him. He'll never show up again. Yeah, Franklin, we just got rid of him. Not gonna get Ian a chair sponsorship, bro. It's not that deep. What is Double Worlds? Question mark. Franklin, he did lose the fourth. Perry is wrong, but don't insult him. If I did get insulted, it's not by real Franklin. Garry was mass bullied by everyone leading up to the fight. Yes. Lube Insider says, and then you have people like MMA Joey who agree with everything Garry says. I know. Because Joey's one of those fucking pong pongs as well, in the Korean culture. Pong Pong, Garry, and Joey. Double Worlds Get a life, bro. If you like Perry, just hop on and don't come on here hating and admit you fuck with the streams. I know, right? I know. Jew's on to Double Worlds. I'm not sure which one's Double Worlds right now because I'm reading so many chats. But Jew, are you saying Seraph is Double Worlds? Nolene says wrestling is part of MMA. You people expect too much from Makhachev. He went up a weight class. You do whatever the fuck it takes to win a fight. Muppet Gary wanted to hug throughout the fight. Islam King. Um, Wrestling is part of MMA. Listen, I'm not mad too much. Like, it's. I mean, let's just do it. Let's just do it. It's not an emotional thing. It's just the facts. And the facts of the matter are, Islam can wrestle, man, but we got to do something. We got to do something about the stalling. We do. We do. We do. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, bro. We got to do something about the stalling. Back in the day in Pride, they had yellow cards. The referee does have the power to separate the fighters and, get the action going. In college wrestling, in high school wrestling, there's stalling calls, there's shot clocks. You got to keep the stuff moving. You got to keep it moving. In the Olympics, when it comes to freestyle, as soon as the action stalls, they blow that whistle, they reset the athletes, they start wrestling again. Like, this is nothing new. Combat sports is stalling exists in combat sports. It's on like the rules, it's on the referee to nip this shit in the butt. And like, I get it, Islam's gonna do it. And listen, as long as they let him get away with it, he's gonna keep doing it. They need to change something. They need to be separating these guys. I know they're never going to deploy a yellow card, bro. Never in history will they ever fucking deploy a yellow card. But listen, you got to do something to address the stalling. You do. That first round and the fourth round are egregious, bro. I mean, not even... Yeah, the fourth round too, low-key. Perry, did you react to 333 announcement? It's cool, Tony M. I did kind of react to it, but what you want me to say? It's a good card. Volkanovski versus Movsar. I'm hoping Volkanovski wins. It's a good card. Franklin says, sorry you have to one-man ship this, Jew. Is there anyone else to help? Don't even worry about it. Jew kind of autistic with it. Jew just being Jew. He he autistic with it, meaning like homie got it. Homie got it on lock, and I don't even think it's a sweat for him. Homie's like a master multitasker, as we figured out yesterday. So, autistic with it is a compliment. Schizo modding. Yeah, see what I mean? Jew got it. He got it on lock. Gary was gang stalked by the world. Ian did win the fourth low key. The last 2 years judging proves so, says Perry Punch moderator. Perry, you can't just like a fighter more and say they won low key. How dare you? Jew says Double Worlds tried to imposter Frank again. LOL. I saw that. I suspect Seraph could be, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Perry Punch moderator says, Nolene, that's not our point. Okay, I like how Perry Punch moderator speaking for me. Seraph, who's stream talking about Perry? Pong Pong Joey. Oh, wow. LOL. Yeah, Pong Pong. Rora says, bro, I broke it down earlier. We back. What up, Wolf Daddy? Tony says, what did you think about Arnold Allen versus Pico? I fuck with it, but low-key, they should have given Allen a fight up. Oh. Yeah, because Allen did beat Alisson or Malik was Costa, right? And then he gets Pico. But I mean, shit. Shit. What if beating Pico is kind of good, no? Beating Pico is kind of good. Pico's a tough matchup for Allen because Allen is not that technical and Pico is. So look out for that. I don't really got too much of an opinion on it. But I know Pico's super technical and Arnold isn't, and that's going to be a story of the fight. Perry Punch moderator says, Perry, I think you're confused. I don't think anyone is complaining about grappling because we love that, but the past 2 years judging have been damage-based, so it would have to go to Ian the fourth. I get it, bro. I get it, but How many judges scored the fourth for Ian? Perry Punch moderator, do you mind answering that? Giuliano's stream, they talked about Perry, also on MMA Joey and Kenny Okoye. Shit, okay. I feel like Seraph is straight glazing me right now, but you know, if that is true, I feel glazed up. I just be getting talked about in everybody's streams. I know I've been mentioned in Kenny Okoye's stream. I heard he said he doesn't know who I am. Allen fight, we always Toonie Inca. Yeah, we fuck with Arnold Allen. But yeah, Perry Punch moderator talking about all that, you know, saying the judges 2 years have been damage based, so it would have gone to Ian in the fourth. Acting, you know, it's as if, homie, the fight didn't take place, as if the judges didn't score it already. How many of the judges scored it for Ian then? With that being said, Perry Punch moderator, with that being said, out of the 3 judges, how many scored it for Islam? How many scored it for Gary? You know? I'm just telling you guys. And it's because you guys are fucking having a brain aneurysm, not understanding the part about Islam kind of being an A side. And like, it's honestly, it's a feel thing. You guys would never understand. Listen, I live and fucking breathe MMA and the UFC, whether anyone wants to fucking accept that or not. Okay. I live and fucking breathe the UFC. 24/7, 365. I mean, shit. Probably more. Probably more. It's honestly probably like 25 fucking 8. You know, I live and breathe the fucking UFC and MMA. And I got my finger on the pulse, homie. So that's all I could really say. It's all I could really say. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. There's a reason that I have some pretty legendary moments. There's a reason I have some pretty legendary moments. I also have some bad ones, but not too many bad ones, to be honest with you. There's a reason I have a lot of legendary moments. Picking Gaethje to beat Topuria. Picking Strickland to beat Hamzat. Listen, you could never. You know, saying Nate Diaz is better than Nick Diaz, like, come on, man. Come on. There's a reason I'm just going to keep it at that. Seraph says he won 3, 4, and 5 on damage. It's fine. I know, homie. That's your opinion. Ruby Z says, Kenny, and it's like, listen, I don't care any which way. I'm just telling you guys, based off the UFC standards, I see why Islam won that shit. I thought it was 3-1 going into the 5th. And Ian didn't lose the fight for the millionth time because he respected Islam. That's some fucking dog shit. So Ian would have tried harder if he didn't hug Islam in the 5th. Is that what you guys are telling me? So Ruby Z says, Kenny knows exactly who you are. That's some goofy ass shit to try and act like he doesn't know the YouTube landscape. Grade A goofy behavior. Shout out to Ruby Z. Ruby Z definitely don't miss. He got my back. Yeah, honestly, I don't say I don't know Kenny Okoye. I know who that is. Come on now. He got to know me. Haynes says, I feel like the refs have to separate the grapplers way more when they aren't advancing after even 25 seconds. We can't award a win to someone holding and stalling. I mean, I've been calling for that. That's what I've said like at least 3 to 4 times on stream already. I said, why didn't Dana criticize anything related to that? You know, Islam hugging too much on the cage. Herb Dean should have separated them. Where is that talk? Why is it Ian Garry respects Islam too much? Why is it that? Sarah says, everywhere I go is Perry Punch this and Perry Punch that, so I figure I'd check it out. Shout out to Seraph. I hope, it's what they say it is. Drew says they will award it to Daggies to appease and be able to sell to the Muslim crowd. And that's why Dana doesn't fucking talk shit on it either. Ruby says 4 and 5. Ian didn't do enough quote unquote damage to Islam during those rounds where he essentially controlled Ian for 3+ minutes. Thank you, Ruby Z. I don't even need to say anything more. You said it for me on that. Franklin says, I did unsub Ruby a long while ago, but I do like him unlike Joey. LMAO. Ruby Z says, Ian won round 3, and that's it. That's what I say. Haynes says impossible to give Makhachev round 4. We've already been through this. Franklin says the Kenny Joey collab was enough for me. Haynes says the damage created after round 4 was insane by Gary. Shout out to Haynes, homie. I mean, the Panda Islam's face to start round 5. Yeah, he looked like shit. Please like the video, Haynes, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Much appreciated. Thanks in advance. Can't stand MMA Joyce's Jew. Yeah, he's kind of bad. Franklin says Strickland Gaethje was nasty. You know what I mean, Franklin? It was fucking dirty, homie. It's dirty what I did there. Soda says, I can't believe they gave round 4 to Islam. I hear you. That was the clearest Ian round ever. I thought the third was clear. Insinuating Ian wasn't locked in pisses me off, though. Not you, Soda Pop, but Dana. Going back to back. I know, Franklin. Back to back, homie. Haynes says, I was just banned by MMA Joey for telling him Islam said he doesn't ask his wife for permission. He tells her what's going to happen. That's hilarious. I would never ban you for something like that, Haynes. You could welcome to your new home, homie. We take all the all the MMA Joey bans. You could just come here. Feel like I've seen that comment before. Perry Spicy tonight, homie. On Demon Time. What a perfecto. Roseanne, I think a differently trained Ian could win the fight. No rule changes needed. Seraph says, I like MMA Joey. I think MMA Joey and Perry are kind of similar streamers. Damn. True Silence says, you can't put the 4th round on screen? Question mark. No. Copyright, homie. Big no. Anyway. The MMA Joey band channel. Yeah. We take the MMA Joey rejects over here. Anyway, let's go over this. You know, Dean Thomas saying he's done with coaching after Gillian Robertson takes her loss to Mackenzie Dern at UFC 330. Super fucking disrespectful. Super disrespectful. Soda Pop says they gave Oral by a round after Wells had him wobbled and lost on the feet, by the way. For some reason, the judges are biased towards a certain type of fighters. I don't know, though. I hear you, Soda Pop. That's what I was saying, though. You gotta like be really like listen, we don't gotta like it, but I just speak about it like as what's good. I just try to tell you guys what's gonna happen in advance, kind of. That's all it is. You know, I'm not saying I co-sign all this shit. I'm saying, you know, I'm just telling you in advance, like, yeah, that round's going to fucking Islam. You know, like that's kind of all it is just like that. It's like shit. I'm gonna just tell you in advance that round went to Islam. We don't gotta like it. You know, it's not my opinion. If anything, I would score it. You know, I like the Ryzen rule set. I score it Ryzen way. You know, I would have gave that round to Ian personally. I guess I should have said that earlier. I would have gave the 4th to Ian. You know, I'm just telling you. You watch enough UFC. I mean, shit, man. What? You know. I was banned on his shit for saying somebody would eventually punch him in the face if they seen him in public. Damn, so Joey like bans people who come in negative, huh? Meanwhile, I just deal with it. Ricky says I'm also banned on Jewish channel for talking shit. Damn, people come on here and talk shit and I just like roast them back. Sarah says the head shape and maybe the body a little bit. How fucking dare you? I need to make another coffee real quick. One more coffee. Okay. Perry Joey collab would be funny though. I remember someone brought that up in chat before. I actually would be down. I'd be down. I'd be down to I feel like I got along with most people. I'm curious if Joey's as like if he's authentic and shit. Obviously Perry's a little bit more skinny looking than Joey. Bro, Seraph, enough. Seraph stop, says Ro. Yeah. Sodapod says, yeah, I knew they were gonna give round 4 to Islam too. See what okay, so thank you, Sodapod. That's basically what I've just been trying to, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, man. So I'm trying to tell you guys. Like we could take it or leave it. But you guys already heard me say it a million times. I will say a couple other things before we do this Dean Thomas thing. Islam Makhachev wants to return before Ramadan. So good shit to Islam Makhachev. He's adamant about returning before Ramadan in February 2027. Needs to fight latest January 2027. He's open to fighting before the end of 2026. End of the year. So hats off to Islam. Also, we want to do this topic, but let me hang on. We're going to get into this fucking topic. If you guys wanted a rant, here's the fucking rant, man. We're going to do it. We're going to do the fucking rant. Don't even trip about it. But let's do this small rant first. Dean Thomas, I don't want to play it because who knows about this Paramount. This is the thing is Paramount is so copyright hungry. It's not even funny, man. So I'm boycotting Paramount shit for the foreseeable future. I will not be playing no Paramount shit really on this stream at all because they so fucking hungry, bro, to fucking file their claims. But anyway, Dean Thomas was on the broadcast and he said, no more Gillian Robertson being her corner. I said I would take her as far as she can go. I'm afraid we've reached that. And, I'm done. I'm retiring from cornering. Like, bro. And then he goes on to say, well, I wasn't there for the weight cut. It's not really fair. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, why are you even doing it then? You're like literally trying to like, I don't know. One of the thoughts that came to my head is like, you're really trying to like get an extra check from Jillian and shit. Like you better not have taken a check if you didn't help her cut weight and all that stuff. You better not have really taken a full check from her. And on top of that, like why would you stick with her this whole time if you can't even give her your undivided attention? Considering, what am I trying to say? It skipped my mind. But it's like considering the fact, I'm trying to think of it. Oh, what I'm trying to say is like Dean Thomas only wanted to corner her because she was gonna fight for a belt or something, and he wanted to like get like one last clout chase or something along those lines. I don't know. That's what it gives, man. But this is what I said. I said, good. Dean Thomas saying he's done cornering Jillian. I said, good. Jillian is far better off without Dean Thomas anyway. He completely failed her in the corner for all 5 rounds and didn't even help her cut weight. Literally told her in the 5th, quote, let's go. Don't give up on yourself here, end quote. Also, announcing your retirement from coaching is one of the most narcissistic things I've seen in a while. Didn't even know coaches did that. Had no clue coaches did that. No fucking clue coaches did something like that. But Dean better not be collecting this check, bro. And I don't know. I'm gonna say it again. Dean still remaining to corner her when he's not even really giving her his best effort. Why? Because she's about to contend for a title. You just want to soak up that camera time one more time. And then I saw some people okay, so I saw some people going at John Anik. They missed it, right? And shout out to you boys who are in the chat right now. I see Juice saying Felder came at him too. So that's what sparked this thought, right? A lot of people were going after John Anik, and this is a W from John Anik. I love to hate on John Anik. But Anatomy I Have a Fighter quote tweeted the post. And he said, "This is whack as fuck from Dean Thomas on air as well. I swear people in this sport disappoint me all the time." And then John Anik responded. He goes, "Wow, awful. Not about you, bro. Wow." And a lot of people thought that he was like going after Anatomy of a Fighter, backing Dean Thomas, right? And then see, they're like, "John Anik, he's your coworker, man. We get it. You trying to keep things kosher. What Dean did was lame as fuck." Yeah. See, John says, "I agree with you. I'm not sure if you think I'm defending him or what." Yeah. They say, "John, shut up." He goes, "Or what?" John's a small guy. He should just chill with that, or what. But I mean, or what though? What are they gonna do? But no, John's in agreement. He's saying awful, not about you, bro. Wow. He's calling out Dean Thomas too. And then Jew saying that Paul Felder came at him. Where I didn't happen to see that yet. That didn't come across my timeline. But it's just pathetic, man. This guy Dean Thomas is just a goofball. Like you can see it in his face. Like you've even seen him dressing up and shit. You've seen what he does. You've seen him dressing up and he thinks it's like for the sake of comedy and stuff. You've seen him like wear like fucking crop tops and have his belly sticking out. This guy loves the camera, man. This guy loves the camera. I'm gonna tell you what he said. I'm gonna listen to it on my own. "I think that might be as far as she can go. And I'm officially retiring from cornering fighters." So he says, "I think that's as far as she can go." He doesn't say, "I've taken her as far as she can go," right? She can go get better coaches to help her because I don't have it yet. He says, "I think she's gone as far as she can go." Then he makes it about himself, "And I'm retiring from cornering fighters tonight." Bro, you just brought unneeded spotlight. Everybody's saying, "Really? Wow." Weidman says, "Can we not discuss this the night of?" Paul Felder says, "That's breaking news." The lady goes, "Why?" He says, "I told myself I would do this with her. I would see her journey out." He told himself that's what he would do. He didn't tell her that's what he would do. He told himself that's what he was going to do for Gillian. He wants to take her as far as he thinks she can go. And this might be as far as she can go. You're insulting the fuck out of her, bro. You should take the blame and say, "This is as far as I can take her. I can't help her win the world title." But he's such a fucking narcissist. He's putting the blame on her subconsciously. He can't even fucking say that. That's crazy that you can't even say that. People would probably say, "Dean, don't put it on you, bro. You don't need to take the blame, Dean." But he's such a fucking narcissist. He can't even like take the blame just because. There's plenty of people who say that like he's right about this, you know, but all he needed to do was take the blame and be like, "I'm gonna retire from coaching. I took Jillian as far as I could take her, not as far as she could fucking go, you fucking narcissistic bitch, as far as you could fucking take her, you know?" And that's it. She can go get better coaching. Like I can't do it for her. That's crazy though. That's fucking crazy. Dean gets 400 max. Yeah, pink shirts and shit. Dean Thomas is also biased as hell. Anatomy of a Lewis. His best fights are when he underperformed. Hang on. "You fuck with that cousin Graper bystander, Perry. It's your world, but you may lose valuable aura." Who? Cousin Graper bystander? What are you talking about, bro? I have no idea what you're talking about. Jew says UFC still have a lot of other fights to make. I don't know if they get to Islam again. Well, before the end of the year, I think they will. Dana praised Islam at the post-fight press conference, saying like Islam's great. Islam's great. He wants to fight all the time. That brings me to my next take, though. Dean gets $400 max from Robertson for that corner work. Max, I know, Ruby Z. Valen Thor says Makhachev is an extremely boring fighter to watch. Hanging onto a takedown on burning the clock isn't fighting. On the flip side, Ian Garry didn't show a sense of urgency. Ian didn't show a sense of urgency because if he slipped up for 1 second, Islam was doing the first half of your sentence, homie. So I don't even blame Ian. I blame Islam, bro. He says Islam wants to fight. Says he wants to fight again before Ramadan, but we all know Habib will say no. So Islam really just talking shit again. I mean, kinda, right? I guess that is a fair thing. His daddy Habib. We all know what happened last time. Juice says, I agree, Valian. Franklin says, HT, I think with Islam's age, he means it. I think Islam does mean it. And I think HT probably believes Islam, but it's the people that stand in Islam's way. Oh, HT says, Franklin, you're a dummy if you believe Islam. Well, never mind. Shit, call me a dummy. I believe Islam. You could call me a dummy. I believe Islam. Franklin says, I'm going John Jones back to #1 fighter of all time. Steroids and all. I just don't see another versatile killer quite like. Question mark. Nah, John's the GOAT, man. It's not Islam. Islam is a Scorpio. He's smart and know you're wrong. Seraph says, well, I guess everything they said about you is true, Perry. Except who is this Jew guy? Is he Jewish? No. Scott says, in the lead up to the fight, Gillian said she wanted to win Dean a world title, and look how much of a snake he is. I know. I have a... Hey, hey, Ilya Topori got a little motion. God forbid, man. God forbid my man's Ilya goes find a new wife in fucking Miami, bro. My man's. Good shit, Ilya. Good shit, Ilya. We see you, Ilya. Wait, a compilation of the fucking ass grabbing from Ian. They say motherfuckers ain't even crazy about their girls like this. See, no, but I don't want to steal takes. That's why I gave my opinion, and then I'll read some other ones. This person, I like it. They say awful. Robertson's issues were clearly in her lack of strength and conditioning. Dean's fault in her game plan. Dean's fault. She's obviously good enough to get back to this position, so take some responsibility. Don't say, quote unquote, she's never going to be champ. I give up. That's what he said. That's what he said. This is that thing I mentioned about Ian and the whole, all that stuff with being signed to Matchroom Talent Agency. Pete Carroll from Uncrowned is saying, UFC punishing him for signing with Matchroom. Aaron Broadstetter gave context and said Ian's management is not Matchroom. There is Talent Agency. They get him sponsorships. This is another video, of like Michael Morales doing nothing and Prates just kind of like, Michael Morales is so gay. Look how he's looking at Prates. Like where's the technical advice, bro? Shout out to everybody watching, though. Friendly reminder to run up likes on the stream. Also, Joe completely making up Makhachev beating Gaethje is crazy work. You guys noticed the whole Muslim Brotherhood wasn't here this time? Where's Shanko? Where was the whole Muslim Brotherhood for Islam? They were in New Jersey. They were in the U.S. Graybeard fucking Asset is here. I don't know who let this fucker in. This fucking criminal. Piece of shit. You know? Piece of fucking shit. I whooped this guy's ass twice on Sunday. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy, I said. You know, but where was the whole Muslim Brotherhood? I just want to know, where was Shanko? John Pork? You know, where were they? Juice saying, oh, so he has a history of this with the crying, laughing. Yep, yeah. Move your feet, yeah. Ruby says Morales looking at Protez like a snack. I know. Franklin says Morales definitely gay. Jeez. He's so zesty. Morales want to go 5 rounds with Protez. I'm not talking Omega. Not 5 rounds in the sheets, Tony. That's too good. True silence, LOL. Juice says that dude with the gray beard has a shady background. Bro, he's the same guy who came in and assaulted Connor, scaled the octagon. Trouble in Paradise with Habib's camp. Just put Shanko in the US. I just want Shanko to come into the US. You know, I don't know. Let's find out. Bring Shanko to the US and let's find out. You know? I think he's got a criminal prosecution waiting for him. I think he's not going to be in the US for a while. I think he got caught on tape assaulting a US citizen and proceeded to do an interview admitting to it online, you know? And then fled back to his country. That's what I think that's what I think. That's what I saw, that's what I know. I saw that Shanko made his debut in Abu Dhabi. I'm wondering why it wasn't in the US. You know? Wondering where Shanko was here. They said they need a ban. You know, I said Islam made the joke. They said, "Oh, Dylan Dan is banned from the UFC events. They need to ban him from the country." That's what Islam said about Dylan Dennis. Funny how that works, right? I wonder who's banned from the country. Could it be that guy who made his UFC debut in Abu Dhabi instead of the US? Could it be the guy who's not here? Huh? Could it be the guy? John Pork? This is really disrespectful. I don't find it funny. You guys are crazy for this. Ain't no way, bro. Hit the George Floyd on him. It's crazy. Shanko is a damn good fighter. Cool. He still did something pretty fucked up, man. And that wasn't even his beef, man. And like, I'm an American citizen. That's my fucking own. You know what I mean? Dylan Dennis, I claim him. I don't give a fuck who doesn't claim him. I claim him. And that shit's not cool with me, man. That shit's not cool with me. I do not let that shit slide. Now, Phil Rowe. Can someone please, somebody please, I'm asking you guys. Phil Rowe posted an egregious reaction to Dean Thomas. And before we move on from the Dean Thomas topic, I would like somebody to drop in the Phil Rowe video so we can play it. It's on his Instagram. It's his most latest video that he dropped. Can someone please? Come on, boys. This is one time I'm asking for something from you guys. Why Graybeard a piece of shit? What the lore? Says Tony M. Oh, I see. Yeah, fuck Graybeard blood. Yeah, bro. He assaulted people at that event when Islam's last fight, and then he's the one who scaled the octagon and put hands on Connor. Never been in trouble, so Morales beats Islam. No, he doesn't. Morales not really like that. Pat Barry was tongue punching her up. Oh my gosh. Shanko, Joey, and Perry all look like they could be brothers to each other. Am I right? I don't know. It would be really helpful if somebody gets me that Phil Rowe. It'd be really helpful if somebody gets me that Phil Rowe thing. Because we're about to get into a big topic, you know? So what I've been telling you guys, finally Islam got a chance to speak. Shout out to Franklin. Says, wow, great stream. After UFC event. Saw after streams all week. Were lit as fuck. Thank you, Franklin. What IG vid ? I'll find it. Go to Phil Rowe's Instagram, Tony M, and just copy the real link. It's him reacting to the Dean Thomas situation. I want to play it for you guys. Just because Phil Rowe, it's like, bro, Phil Rowe, man. Not a fan anymore. Not a fan, man. Phil Rowe thinks it's like a flex to know Dean Thomas, please. Phil Rowe on his fucking IG. I know Dean Thomas. I messaged Dean, and what Dean meant to say. Bro, quit speaking for Dean. And listen, you don't need to reach out to Dean. No one was pressed about, what Dean meant to say. We all heard him loud and fucking clear. He said that's as far as Gillian can go. That's as far as he thinks she can go. Fucking Phil Rowe, man. Phil Rowe. Flexing like he knows Dean Thomas. We don't give a shit, homie. Phil fucking Rowe, man. I get it, Phil. You're a confident fella, but like, holy shit, man. Holy shit. If you would have thought Phil Rowe won a UFC title, by no offense to the guy. Hold on. Thank you, Tony M. Hold on. Hey, like the video. Come on, boys. Like the fucking video before we play this. Yes, thank you, Tony M. Thank you. See, Phil Rowe says, Dean Thomas ain't shit. Bro, don't fucking... This is a goofy ass shit. Like, Dean Thomas ain't shit. No, you should say Dean Thomas is my daddy and I have his back. Because that's how you're acting. Let's hear Phil Rowe telling us what Dean Thomas meant.
Yo, everybody's hitting me up about what Dean said, because...
Who hit up Phil Rowe? Everyone's hitting me up about what Dean said.
Dean and I are cool.
Because Dean and I are cool. Little flex real quick.
I've known Dean a long time, and I don't agree with what everyone is saying and what everyone thinks he meant. And prior to me even speaking to Dean, I had my opinion and I made comments, and people have been coming at me in the comments. That's not what Dean meant. He's not throwing Gillian under the bus. He's not washing his hands of Gillian. I looked at it immediately as him washing his hands of the fight game. You're talking to a guy that's almost 50 years old whose entire adult life has been consumed by the fight game, whether he's fighting, coaching, now commentating. And there's the highest highs and the lowest lows. And obviously, the taste of defeat is a lot worse for Gillian, but coaches ain't robots, so they're still feeling the loss as well. And I immediately interpreted it as him just being done with the fight game.
In his Corvette, it's like, oh my gosh, bro, I can't even sometimes.
Him being done with the highs and lows of fighting, having to experience it in so many different capacities. And after speaking to him, that's exactly what he meant, so I'm sure he'll be there for Gillian, he'll be there for Joe Pyfer, Sean Brady, but I think it's him just saying the same way when fighters stick around too long, I think he knows that it's time for him to hang it up, and if his heart ain't in it and he doesn't want to feel that lowest low of the fight game, I think that's just, you know. But maybe I'm wrong. I just deal with my personal interactions with people. So that's just my take on it.
My blood's boiling. It's like, nah, you're 100% wrong. You're 100% wrong. And I'm not going to fucking go into this, but it's like, yeah, Dean's just, Dean's just kind of, it's all good. Like, Dean's just, it's all innocent. Dean's just being like, he just doesn't want to experience the lowest of the lows in the fight game. He's innocent. It's all good. Like all smiley about it. Bro, shut the fuck. Oh my God. I'm going to, let me calm down. I don't want to be so disrespectful. But it's like, bro, you ain't fooling fucking no one, Phil. Shilling again, man. Shilling again. It ain't no coincidence. It ain't no coincidence Phil's fucking sticking his neck out for Dean Thomas. And don't make me fucking say it. The most I'm going to say, it ain't no coincidence, bro. I expected this shit to fucking happen. No fucking shit. Phil Rowe going to speak up for Dean Thomas. And I'll say it like this. Same guy who got his panties in a bunch when Josh Hokett said what he said about Michelle Obama being a man. Same guy who got his panties in a bunch. Had to hop on, had to speak on it. Dean Thomas had to come on, had to speak on it. He can't let this shit get through. Please, bro, it's so fucking goofy. It's so disingenuous. It's so disingenuous. And I'm going to say it one more time to be a little bit more clear. It's the same thing as the Islam fans, bro. He's just as bad as the Islam fans. He's just as bad, man. That's bad, man. That's bad. That's bad. I'm not gonna say it, bro. I'm not gonna fucking say it. But he's forming your opinions not off the shit you should be forming your fucking opinion off of, bro. The fuck are you on? The fuck are you on, bro? What the fuck are you talking about? You had to reach out to Dean Thomas to ask what he meant. Why don't you just fucking dissect the words real quick that his narcissistic ass had to say on camera right after his fighter lost? She went as far as she could go. She ain't going no further. So I'm done. Because I told myself, years ago, I'll take her as far as she can go. Bro, please, you didn't even let her reach her full fucking potential because you've been stuck with your dumb ass. Yeah, and it's like Ruby says, I interpret it as straight up fucking goofy. Yeah, straight up goofy, bro. Straight up goofy. That's a goofy ass take from Phil, man. That's a goofy ass take. It's unacceptable. Actually, it's unacceptable. That shit pisses me off. You can't even listen to Phil. You can't even trust that guy, man. You can't even trust that guy, man. I'd be sitting there nodding my head, yeah, smiling and laughing with Phil. Fucking go home and be like, shit, we ain't kicking it no more. I can't fucking sit there and listen to that shit. And he thinks I'm believing it. No, I'm just not going to argue with you, bro. That's crazy. Ruby Z says, we all know why, Perry. Okay, thank you. Jew says, Dean ain't never did anything for fans. He's a grifter. Boricua says, Islam is the GOAT. Beating these huge welterweights is impressive. It's cool. I wish the referee would have separated them a few more times in the fight. That's all. Juice has talked his way into tricking everybody that he's this great mind in MMA with good advice during the fight, and nobody ever really cared and gave him mind. Now that he exposed the person he is, we on his ass. Yeah. He did expose it. It's just not a good look, man. You can always see. It's like the clueless joy in his face while he's fucking throwing his fighter under the bus. It just makes you hate him by the second. Pat Thunder butt into submission as every... Oh my gosh, James. What up, James? Juice says Dean ain't no brother. He's a poor man's DC. Ooh. Oh, Space Kid with the face. Come on, Space. That's some goofy ass shit by fucking Phil Rowe. That's some goofy ass shit. You can't even fucking trust him. You know? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get into this topic real quick. That smile from Dean is called Duper's Delight. I actually don't shit. I don't know what Duper's Delight would translate into, but I mean, I want to see real quick. What does Duper's Delight mean? I just want to know what like what's the Urban Dictionary of that. It's probably just a James Pond phrase. Duper's Delight or duping delight is the thrill or sneaky joy a person feels when they successfully lie, cheat, or trick someone. Coined by psychologist Paul Ekman, it often shows up as a quick secret smile or smirk that pops out by accident while a person is lying or talking about a trick. Yeah, that's fucking Dean Thomas. Duper's fucking delight. It's a term bad people use. It's real B. Shout out to James Pond. Duper's delight is fucking Dean Thomas. You could see it come out of him. Ruby Z says, Space, we all know why Roe will defend Dean. It's obvious. It's obvious, man. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting on any level. It doesn't even matter. Don't fucking put it in a vacuum. You know what I mean? It's a personality flaw that he's got. It's a personality flaw that he's got. Do not view what I'm saying about fucking Phil in a vacuum, bro. I said the same shit. The same reason why fucking Islam Makhachev can never be fucking, you know, talked down by his fans is the same shit that Phil Rowe does. You know, and that shit's goofy as fuck. It's goofy when the Islam fans do it. It's goofy when Phil Rowe fucking does it. It's goofy, man. That shit's goofy no matter how you cut it, slice it, or fucking dice it, boys. That shit fucking goofy. That shit's goofy as hell. That shit's goofy as hell. I'm gonna stop going off on that rant, but it's like, you know, I don't, you know, that shit doesn't even need to get twisted. It's really not about nothing, but it's about everything, man. But it's not about, you know, it's not about that first thought that meets the fucking mind. You know, it's a bigger issue. It's a personality flaw. Fundamental personality flaw, doing shit like that. Space says W. Shout out to fucking Space. My man Space. James with the unique slang. I'm not the guy Jew is painting me as. Jew says, oh, you're showing your double worlds. You got to mix it up, not use the same language in comments. Yeah, because anyone who ever asks if Jew is a Jew, it's kind of obvious, right? James Pond says, I never really liked Dean Thomas. LMFAO Jew giving double worlds tips. Jew fucking smart, homie. Anyway, okay, let's move on. You know, Phil Rowe, man. Come on, man. You gotta fucking get right with yourself, homie. And it's, you know, Phil Rowe did that Duper's Delight too. Here, wait. You know, remember Duper's Delight, right? Remember Duper's Delight? You guys remember when I was fucking lying? When I was not lying. When I was reacting to Phil Rowe's video and I was doing the fake laugh, like, oh, it's all good. Dean's like, oh, it's all good. I was doing that because his fucking Duper's Delight, bro. It's Duper's Delight. Phil lying through his teeth about fucking Dean, trying to fucking serve you up a shit sandwich, you know? Like lying through his teeth about Dean, so to speak, you know, coping for him, and he's smiling. He's trying to, it's Duper's Delight. Duper's Delight. Is it the thrill or sneaky joy a person feels when they successfully lie, cheat, or trick someone? Listen to Phil Rowe again.
Yo.
In his Corvette while driving. Yikes.
Everybody's hitting me up about what Dean said, you know, because Dean and I are cool. I've known Dean a long time, and I don't agree with what everyone is saying and what everyone thinks he meant. And prior to me even speaking to Dean,
I wish we could fast forward it because I don't want to keep listening to this. I'll show you guys when his Duper's Delight starts showing. You'll see when he starts, see, it's like
he's not washing his hands of Gillian. I looked at it immediately as him.
This is just a funny ass segment.
The fight game.
This is just a funny ass segment pointing out his Duper's Delight. This is one of those, there's a little bit of truth in every joke. He's still trying to sell it, that's why. That's why he's not smiling yet, because he's still trying to get that lie across.
done with the fight game, him being done with the highs and lows of fighting, having to experience it in so many different capacities. And after speaking to him, that's exactly what he meant, you know? So I'm sure he'll be there for Gillian, he'll be there for Joe Pyfer, Sean Brady. But I think it's him just saying the same way when fighters stick around too long, I think he knows that it's time for him to hang it up, you know? And
it's going to start showing now.
If his heart ain't in it and he doesn't want to feel that lowest low of the fight game, I think that's just, you know? But
he's doing it. He's doing it.
Maybe I'm wrong. I just deal with my personal interactions with people. So that's just my take on it.
Anyway, let's get done with that. That's waste of our time, actually. Sorry I even fucking stuck you guys with the Duper's Delight and Feel. Nobody even cares, including me. Okay, let's go to this. James Pond says I saw it. Okay, well, good. I'm glad that you did see it. Then it was worth the time. Did you give it? Let me see here. LOL. Looked like Leon first glance. Juice says, damn Philly Fresh. We still don't like Dean after you saying this, though. Yeah, we still don't like Dean. Anyway, never knew that Dean guy was a fighter. Can't believe he was a 45er. Yeah, BJ Penn beat his ass. LOL, says Franklin. Franklin, did you see the Duper's Delight, homie? All right, let's okay, I'm gonna give you guys the full context. All right. Islam Makhachev. I don't really care about that guy. I know True Silence. That's why I did apologize. There's no point. There's no point. Methed out BJ still got this. Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Okay. You guys are going to like this rant. You guys will probably like it. So you guys know I've been on this. I made lots of videos about it. You can go back on the channel and see it. But Islam finally addressed the hand injury, the alleged hand injury, the rumored hand injury that Dana White made up that Islam did not have. You know, the made up hand injury that kept Islam out of UFC White House is crazy, man. That shit's crazy. I told you guys from the very beginning, Islam's hand wasn't injured. The UFC didn't want to pay Ilya money. And they didn't deliver us the fight that we wanted on UFC White House. Islam versus Ilya. Both men wanted the fight. The UFC didn't want to pay for it, you know, because they took a big loss on the card anyway. And that's fine. But what's not fine is lying about Islam, saying, oh, well, you know, we got to do Ilya versus Gaethje because Islam's hand is injured, you know, and not say the part that, like, not Ilya, you know, negotiated. He asked for more money and we didn't want to give it to him. So we booked the Gaethje fight. Right. And so obviously this has pissed off Islam. I've been telling you guys, Dana's lying about Islam. This isn't cool. And Islam, it bothered him so much to the point where no one even asked him about this shit. He brought it up on his own and he wasn't even going to fully elaborate. He just hinted at it a little bit. But let me give you the fucking context, because before this, Islam was basically saying, they're saying, you know, do you want to fight whatever according to Ramadan? And Islam is saying, we need a fight before Ramadan. I think the person was saying, like, you're going to be out, so, like, when are you going to come back or something along these lines. But Islam, basically, in a nutshell, he's saying, nah, man, we need to be back before Ramadan. I'm older. You know, I didn't take too much damage. I want to fight before Ramadan, man. I'm 34 years old. Let's get this shit going. Okay, and then after that, he goes, and before this fight, I give my approval to fight at UFC White House. It's a long story why I'm not there, but I told UFC beginning of summer, I want to fight, but it's not something I choose and I make. Okay, and then he stopped it, and then they're like, yo, can you elaborate? And so he did. And he said, Ali Abdelaziz called me and said, hey, you want to fight White House with Ilia Topuria? I said, yes. I never asked. They offered me good money. And next day, Ali said, it's not happening. Just see what his Ilya's manager said. He said, we got offered the fight. We asked for some money. They don't give us. That's why we chose Justin Gaethje. But I never say no. And Ilya started talking that I'm injured or something happened with me, but it's not true. I gave my approval to fight in White House. See what I mean? And this is why I was getting on Ilya too, but I was also getting on Islam for this shit. Because Islam was also, or according to the Twitters and shit like that, Islam was saying, Ilya ducked me because he asked for more money. And then Ilya's fucking spewing out what Dana's saying, oh, you know, Islam got this hand injury. He doesn't want to smoke with me. And it's like, why don't you call out the fact that this fight's not happening because the UFC didn't want to pay you? You know, and why don't you call out the fact that the UFC's lying about your hand injury, Islam, back then? I'm happy Islam finally did it because that's what I've been calling for. Call out the fucking UFC, bro. They're pinning you guys. They're making you guys look bad, and you guys are throwing these insults back at each other. You know, UFC lying on both of your names, and then you guys are taking the lies that the UFC's throwing on your names, and you're throwing them at each other, hurling these fucking lies at each other instead of clearing up the fucking lies in the first place. You know, this is why I've been so fucking adamant about this. This has been driving me fucking crazy. And I put my balls on the fucking table with this shit. I told you guys from the very beginning, Dana's fucking lying. There's a thumbnail out there again. He's lying again. I got the thumbnail on the fucking channel. Multiple videos made about this shit. Dana fucking lying, bro. And I put my balls on the table. I put my balls on the fucking table for that. You know, and I was right. Anyway, let's watch it.
Before this fight also, I give my approval to fight in White House. It's long story why I'm not there, but I told beginning of the summer, I want to fight. I call Ali, I call everybody, I want to fight. But it's not something I chose and I make, you know.
Well, what is the long story?
Because Ali called me and say, hey, you want to fight White House with Ilia Tapuria? I say yes, and I'm never asked. They offer me good money, and next day Ali say it's not happen, and I don't know. Just see what his manager said. He said we offer the fight, we ask some money, they don't give us. That's why we chose. Maybe Ali know all story, bro. He will tell you, but I never say no, and I don't do too much media and. Ilya start talking, I'm injured, something's happened with me, but it's not true. I give my approval to fight in White House.
Islam's coming back from an injury, a hand injury. As soon as he's ready, we'll figure out what's next for him.
March 21st, 2026, this fucking goofball lying through his teeth about Islam. Lying through his teeth on Islam's fucking name, bro. March 21st, 2026, before the summer. After Islam saying, I want to fight, man. You know, Dana holding up Islam's career because he doesn't want to shell out money for the fight. And I know Juice says we would have been hyped for nothing. Islam would have just wrestle fucked Topuria in hindsight. I know, but still. Let's see. Psychoanalysis is always great, Perry. There it is. There's a psychoanalysis. James Bond says Pat Berry. Oh, I'm not gonna keep reading that. Juice says sounds like Ali was asking for even more money. Space says, oh wow. Juice says Islam said he was cool with the money offered though. Seems like Ali asked for even more. No. Ilya asked for more money, rightfully so. He's moving up to 170 to challenge for a third belt. And the UFC didn't want to compensate him for doing that. And then they said, okay, well, if it's the same money to fight Islam as it is to fight Gaethje, then we'll take Gaethje. Spaces, I'm stinking mad. Juice says, or no, we read that. Franklin says, Drew, I think Ilya versus Islam at 55 be good, though. 55 would be good. 55 would be good. 70, no. Juice says 55 maybe a bit more competitive, but I guess I'm thinking it would have been at 70. It would have been at 70. By the way, crazy hot take. Do you guys think Gaethje beats Islam at 55? I'm feeling Islam wouldn't have wanted to cut back down. No, he wouldn't. Franklin says, I think it was never going 55. Yes. Space says he's mad that we could have had Islam versus Ilya. Yeah. So Here's a funny ass thing. I said the cameraman panning to Usman posing for a picture holding the 2 UFC belts sent me. You gotta look at this. Look, backstage, the whole team, right? Look at Usman. Peep Usman, the camera pan to Usman. In the background, just with the 2 belts posing for a photo. Usman always in his own world, bro. Fucking Usman, bro. Just 2 belts. You know, what's it called? Like bad luck, schmad luck. What's the word? Jinx, schminks, you know? Like this guy not worried about nothing. He'll grab those 2 belts. He'll take a photo with them and everything. The confidence is crazy from Usman. The camera. Usman's hilarious, man. I really like Usman. True Silence says Gaethje doesn't beat Islam. Jew says I'm not counting Gaethje out. Yes, we can't be counting out Gaethje no more. Usman there with his hairline. Usman's hairline is kind of bad, huh? 68% of you guys said Islam or Ian won that 4th round. That's cool. And then it's crazy because like Narulo Aliev gets that ranked fight after the shit ass performance against Mike Davis. It just goes to show, man, the Dagestani fighters, although the UFC's trying to get rid of them, in a sense, they're not necessarily willing to badmouth them. But it was a solid stream. Solid stream, boys. 2 hours and 13 minutes, huh? Not bad. Not a bad stream. If you guys can run up the likes, it's always greatly appreciated. You already know that. If you guys got some questions or something, maybe we can do a little, you know, answering right now. That's pretty much all I got, though, I think. I guess I wrote down some topics. I'll go through it quick. Ian Garry's statement after his loss. We don't care anymore. Dana White. Ian doesn't have killer instinct. Islam agrees. Yep. I respect Ian Garry. Yep. Islam is boring. Yep. Grimy ass way to win. Islam needs to be criticized. Yeah. Okay, we hit all the talking points. Sometimes people have way back hairlines. Black people most. Oh my gosh. Space Kiss says I liked their flag on fight night. Oh yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Space Kid with the upward arrow in the question mark. I don't know what the hell James Pond is on, Space Kid. Story time, cuh. I don't got any stories. Let me take a piss and I'll come back. Put something in the chat. Ask some questions or something. What didn't I cover? Or did I just cover everything? Neighbor time, cuh. Eager to go pipe. Absolutely not. Let's talk about Diego Sanchez or something. Bro, there's nothing to say about Diego. When will a UFC fighter rep the Ethiopian flag? I don't know. For real neighbor time. Joshua Fabiaca. Where is he these days? Hopefully in jail. Funny they gave Volk Evloev, felt like they wanted him to lose to Diego. Well, I'm glad that at least they gave Volk Evloev so we can finally get everything moving. Evloev's kind of next, right? Tonio says, tell a story of your neighbor. There is no story to tell, Tony. You know it. You know it, homie. I don't got one. Let's do a where are they now? Franklin says she whole cutie though. Shout out to Franklin. All right, boys. I guess that's the stream. 2 hours is pretty good. 2 hour 17-minute rant about UFC 330. Come on now. Space Kid says, did Jim Bro eventually leave you alone? ? No, bro. In fact, he's just kind of like, I don't know. He kind of like progressively. He's so weird, bro. It's okay. It's fine. But it's like, I get that I kind of like did homie dirty. So I don't try to like really ruin his confidence too much, but he definitely tries to like maintain his confidence around me. I don't know if you guys understand. Like he really wants to like puff his chest when I'm around, and don't worry, there's no, it's all good. He could puff his chest a little bit, but there's nothing ever coming of it. I don't know. He's super annoying though. Super annoying. I actually hate that shit the most. Imagine like it's like, oh, 7:30. He probably there right now. I could tell you what he's fucking doing, Like every time he always there. Ayo ? He's weird, bro. He leaves me alone. We don't talk to each other. He just kind of like, he always looks my direction. I can't explain it. It's like, bro, stop even looking my way. Don't even worry about me. If he wins, that division is ruined. Oh, Evloev. Ricky says, Evloev a bum. I'd sleep his steroid taking ass. Otto says, good night. Good night, G. See you, man. Peace out, Otto. Good night, homie. Where are they now on Fruity, homie? Oh, bro, he's doing the same thing. 2 years ago, he was doing the same thing. 2 years from now, he'll be doing the same thing, bro. He at that gym. He at that gym from like 7 to fucking 11 p.m. Hoping he can catch me there at some point in time. W stream. Franklin is still staring at the Cavs. Shit, not me. John Valentino says, hello, everyone. What up, John? Complimenting the Cavs? ? Hell no. W stream says, Ruby Z. Thank you, Ruby Z, for tapping in. All your support, homie, for the dono. For the $10 big bag dono, Ruby Z. Much appreciated, homie. James Paul says, WS. Space Case says, sometimes you just got to tell him off one good time. The thing is, bro, man, this is the problem. You got to be careful about that type of shit. It's going to come off super egotistical. But if I do that, I really ruin, there's no need, Space, because it's really going to hurt him, man. It's really going to hurt him because he can't do anything. He really got to take that shit, and that hurts someone's confidence, bro. It really does. Like, I'm not trying to like do that to the dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can maintain your confidence. I get, as like an individual, you don't want to feel like you're beat down. I'm not beating you down, bro. You just got gay as fuck with me, and I cut it off. But it is what it is, and it's just like, yeah. If I were to tell him off, he has to take it. He wouldn't have an option to do anything else. And then it just really, I don't like doing that to people, man. Like, it's not gonna make me feel good. It's gonna make me feel worse. I kind of, know where I stand already, so there's no need to tell him off. I have a friend who's kind of a previous friend. We're not friends anymore because he's like that, where he tells people off, and it's like, bro, relax, man. Like, you don't need to do that to that guy, So leave him alone, He's just fucking weird, bro. He aura farming, kinda. He tries to aura farm. Still asking you to spy his Cavs? ? No, he knows better. Now he just like looks my way. Jew says standoffish now because you ain't let him hit. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Jew. He's standoffish now because I ain't let him hit, bro. Oh, Jew, you kill me, homie. That's exactly it. Franklin says, yeah, just got to be nice to these people. It's true, man. It's true. It's true. With great power comes great responsibility, boys. Come on now. You know, you can't just be blessed with some power and then like fucking ruin people's lives with it, you know? And I'm not gonna ruin his life, bro. It's fine. We just aren't. You leave me alone, bro. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. And don't ever fucking try me. You try me and your life will be fucking ruined. But you know, I'll let you fucking be standoffish because I didn't let you hit. It's fine. Just don't ever try me and leave me alone, and you'll be good too. You know. Anyway, boys, peace out. Thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. You guys already know that. Like the stream if you did not like the stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm gonna dip out of here. But once again, thanks for watching, boys. And I'll see you tomorrow probably if there's some stuff to talk about. But I do think tonight was a solid stream, so hopefully you boys enjoyed it. And Ian Garry lost that 4th round, boys. Whether you want to accept it or not, Ian Garry lost that 4th round. I'm playing. Well, technically to the UFC, he did, bro. He did. But if you guys want me to score it like according to how I see fighting, then yeah, he won it. There you go. And that's not me, you know, I'm not appeasing nothing. That's the truth. Ruby Z says Spider-Man quote is so true. With great power comes great responsibility. Yes. Come on, man. You can't just be fucking ruining people's days and lives and confidence like it's nothing. That's not cool. You know, people's confidence is sometimes all they got. Shout out Ruby Z. Shout out Tony M. Shout out Dunn Daughter. Shout out James Pond. Shout out Franklin. Shout out Space Kid. Shout out Jew. Shout out to John Valentino. Shout out to Otto. Shout out Ricky LaFleur. Shout out to True Silence. Shout out to Franklin. Shout out Ruby Z. I just be repeating sometimes. Shout out to Seraph. Shout out to Bori Cow. Shout out to Roro. Shout out to Lubin Cider. Shout out to Tony Sal. I'm sure Tony Sal was in here, right? Shout out my man Scott Snyder. Good to see you in here, homie. Shout out to HT. Good to see you in here. Valiant Thor. Shout out, homie. Perfecto. Shout out, homie. Thanks for tapping in. Haynes King. Shout out, homie. Thanks for tapping in. Hopefully some of you guys subscribe to our new viewers. Shout out Perry Punch Moderator. Shout out Wolf Daddy. All right, boys. That's the top of the chat, though. Much appreciate everybody. Thanks for watching. Like the stream on the way out, and I will see you guys tomorrow if there's topics. Peace out, boys. Peace out.